Alrighty. Blue is Mercury weather. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing precision ground strikes in this kind of rating category 3 edition. This should be interesting. What we're carrying today is 2 walleyes. It's kind of hard to see, but 2 GPS guided bombs. And just a few AMRAAMs and sidewinders. So this should be very interesting. So draft started, and we will talk again next thing is ready to go. You can see there I've selected the Weedles on the data link pod, which is one of the various delivery modes that you can use with the Weedle in combination with the data link pod. I'll have to make tutorials eventually, but to summarize it, the Weedle is a TV camera that talks to its data link pod, which has 2 antennas. Back antenna, the front antenna, the back antenna. Got it stuff there. And essentially, it lets us steer the bomb into a target, which we'll be using this screen to, as I said, guide the bomb. Anyways, we are ready to go now. Take a look. Mission music here. I am using Through the Inferno's offline single-player missions, which I'll link in the description. Kind of makes your computer want to die, but I can thankfully run it. So I'm going to be aiming here, shabby below 0.4. So we're going to put that into our HSI here. And I'm going to start navigation mode to GPS instead of eternal navigation. Anyways, so I'll be ground through with the chocks. Alright, now we will start taxiing. Thing I have to give props to DCS for is the rain effects. As you can see here, they're, well, yeah, I'd say they're pretty much on par with Microsoft Flight Simulator and X-Plane's rain. Anyways, I'm going to follow the signaling person here, following their hand commands. You can see they're all using light sticks, and that's because we're following the Naval Case 3 carrier operations, which are used for rain and nighttime, which is why they have light sticks. Wings out, we're bringing the launch bar, our front landing gear, down. And now we're going to start getting connected to the catapult here, and we're going to keep following this person's hand signals. There we go. Start advancing our throttle until it slips over it. And there we go. To hold takeoff trim. Trim for takeoff. You definitely want to do that so you don't nosedive on a catapult launch. That's the signal for the catapult. Alrighty. We are now ready to advance our throttles. I'm going to put this control thing bottom left so you can see my controls, but also so I can see where the afterburner D10 is. Signaling to take off here. This is one of the pilot bodies actually animates with it. So you can see here you don't touch the stick on takeoff, because if you did, you would accelerate pretty hard and you'd throw that stick back. So we're going to kind of form a departure here. We're going to climb out a bit. Turn the burner off because this plane has a comedically low amount of fuel. And we're going to switch to autopilot, couple steering mode, which flies it towards our target point. I'm also going to bring up my head-mounted cubic system as well, or head-mounted display, which lets me see various things, such as friendlies and their headaches. You can kind of hear this is a pretty bad rainstorm. It's nothing we can't handle. I'm planning on climbing up to about 24,000 feet. Master caution just went on, though I'm not entirely sure for what. This was it. Not sure what throttle was doing there. I may have accidentally engaged the auto throttle mode by accident, because the auto throttle mode, the T key on the keyboard, is right next to the R key, which toggles the visibility of the head-mounted display here. Operating pretty slow here. That's why I kicked the burner on, so we can get some speed. And we're planning on climbing above this cloud layer as well, if our plane permits it. Yeah. I think I see what's happening. The throttle now. I believe it is. There we go. I figured out the problem to the throttle. It's numpad minus, the key I used to mute my microphone, is what was throttling it down. So that makes sense. Over there you can see a bit of Syria. It's the map I'm using. It's a pretty nice map. It's a very big map also. The map is so big, in fact, that through the Inferno single-player missions pack that I'm using literally breaks the mission up into 3 different regions, I believe. Just because of how big the map is, which is pretty crazy. You can see plenty of rainfall over there. It's kind of fog in general. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to waypoint designate the mission waypoint. But because that would disengage it as a waypoint, we'll quickly do that first. Waypoint designate. early morning system here. He's picking up an F-18. It's about 10 o'clock-ish. And we have some E3s at around 7 o'clock-ish. Including F-14 that's at R6. It all seems fairly normal. Meantime, I'm going to set my radar altimeter for landing. I'm going to set it to about 800-ish. There we go. So you can see there, in roughly 85 seconds, we're going to uncage the seeker head, wheedle, and drop it. I'm not entirely sure which station is Station 8. I don't think this has a Newport thing that shows it, but while I'm here I might as well input the carrier information. You can see here the diamond's going off the HUD now. It should start blinking, but it literally cannot display it anymore. Which in that case I would plan to still show it. Yep. But the reason why we have the head-mounted device is if I go into HMD, deselect blank, you can see that I can see through the aircraft now. And I can see the diamond right there. The only downside being, well, that. Anyways, for 10 seconds till drop, I'm going to cage the wheedle. My bad, I'm going to switch it to air-to-ground mode, and uncage the wheedle. And we'll wait a few seconds, because again, this bomb is pretty big. You do not want to run out of energy when operating this bomb. And I'm going to take a wild guess here. I guess wrong. Anyways, we are now operating the wheedle. It's going to take a second, since we're just sort of flying through the air. In fact, I'm not 100% sure if I'm on the right channel right now, so I'm going to dial channel 8, which should have the wheedle that we just dropped. Yes, that's what I thought. It appears I cannot seem to... There we go. See the targeting smoke there? So what we're going to do is we're going to aim the seeker head in that direction. I have zero idea why our master caution went on. Sometimes it just goes on because it feels like it. You can see the wheedle get closer and closer to the targeting smoke. And I'm pretty confident that we have this target. Never mind. The bomb was taken out by a anti-air gun. Again, these things are big targets. It happens. We are going to fly above the target, and then I will command a steer back. Now I'm going to command my steer using the autopilot heading mode. Which handles the major weight balance of the wings a lot better than I ever could. Let's hope the second one fits properly. Because this is a very major problem that I've had with wheedles before, where they're so big they can really get shot out of the sky with an anti-air gun, which is not very viable. Alrighty, we're turning back onto the attack profile now. You can see how much a waypoint drifts with this heading mode. just because of how slow it turns. But anyways, in range, I'm going to uncage the... I wish I didn't have those voice lines. I'm going to uncage the wheel here. And then once we level the aircraft out, I will drop it. Alright, we've leveled out. 3, 2, 1, pickle. Alright. So now, like that is dropping, I'm going to sit here and watch until we have visual on the targeting smoke. Now you may think that this system is very rudimentary, it's horrible, which, while that is true, you need to remember that this is a 90s data link system, if I remember correctly. It is a very old system, and is not new by any stretch of the imagination. Which is pretty incredible to think about people using these in the late 80s, early 90s to actually take out targets. This is behind us now. I've tried this last time. We're going to switch to the aft antenna. Seems like we have this. Let's hope the bomb makes it. And it's going to make it. Impact. There we go. The ground forces confirm it's been taken out. And now we can switch to our second toy, which is the J-84 GPS guided bombs. So to use these is a little bit more different. Now, the reason why I use Student Inferno for my single player missions is because of one thing called the JTAC. Now, this is a system you can set up yourself, and I'm sure there's many tutorials out there, but I just like how this has it built into it. So you can see here I show JTAC targets. Get a wide list of every single target. Now, we should be able to... That may be the old target. Nope, that's the new target. Let's double check. Here it is. You can press target, universal something, universal function, and I don't know. So I'm going to press our latitude, so it's 3306, 16, and then our precision seconds, which is 0.08, and then our latitude, which is 36, 15, 59 east, with a precision seconds of 76. And now we just get the elevation, which if I told to bring that up again, I should have done it for Docker. There we go. The elevation is 2,087 feet. So now we have a precision target point to launch this bomb from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, yet again, aim this to turn. That's 140. 10. But instead of using this autopilot, we're going to do some good old manual turn. Is this recommended? Probably not, but it's much quicker. There we go. We're now flying above the target. As you can see by the diamond up there. And now we're going to go back into all of our autopilots. So this is on Station 7, which I'm assuming is this pilot up there. And what we're going to do is we're going to wait till we can get into that launching circle. The circle there, it's the range you can drop it from, and that little cone there is the preferred kind of dropping point, if I remember correctly. Also be able to tell when to drop it by looking at this timer up here, which is constantly speeding up since we're speeding up. See there, now that we've kind of leveled our speed out, have about 10 seconds till drop. Tell us to steer just a tiny bit. And now we are in the zone here. So wait a few seconds and drop. Alright, now the bomb is guiding itself. I'm going to initiate a turn away so we can turn back around with our next GPS bomb. And now we wait to hear about that bomb's and hopefully its target's fate. Sounds like the target has met its fate. We have a new JTAC target. And it appears we have taken out multiple targets, so clumped together. Which is good. We're now going to JTAC back up. I'm going to display it for 90 seconds this time. And we're going to input this target's data. Which is north 3306 19.89, longitude 6 16 19 69. Now we're going to declare an elevation of 2,089 feet. That is crucial so the bomb knows where the ground is. Anyways, we're going to do what we did last time. Tell the autopilot to turn this way. We take manual control. And let's hope the dampener doesn't. Oh, it bit us back again. Anyways, I quickly recovered it, and we are now turning towards the target. We just reached our bingo fuel, which means that we should probably start heading home now. So I'm going to drop this target off, and then we'll start flying back towards the carrier. There's our launch cone. Level us out here. Readjust the heading bug and heading selector. Just checking the map to see which would be closer, the tanker or the carrier. Since they're pretty equal distance apart here, with some AI F-14s in tow with the tanker, I've just made the decision that we're gonna go back to the carrier. Anyways, we are in zone now. Watch parameters. Look satisfactory. So 3, 2, 1, pickle. Now that that bomb's away, we're going to de-designate this target. Turn off our underground master mode. And we're going to start configuring to fly back. So TACAN on, instrument landing system on, TACAN active. This should show, yep, shows the carrier's beacon being over there. Set it to 40 degrees, and then couple mode, which should fly us towards TACAN. After I, of course, give us a nice turn. Had a bit too much fun there. Turn just yet. Our radar has locked a friendly for some reason, probably just for tracking purposes. Now we can engage that mode. There we go. The bomb has carried out its target, so I would clarify this as a success. Let's see if we can talk to the carrier. We can't talk to it just yet. What I'm going to bring up is I'm going to bring up our F-Pass, which, as you can see here, recommends us to climb pretty high up. So that's what I'm going to follow, just because we are operating pretty low consumption. Pretty low fuel amount, I should say. As you can see here, it recommends about Mach 0.84. So there we go. We have a bit of inlet ice. So I'm going to turn on the engine anti-ice and just the pitot, just in case the computer hasn't done that yet. Gotten over the last kind of big cloud layer, since we're so much lighter now. Not that we're not carrying. I think it's roughly... I think we were carrying roughly 6,000 pounds of bombs, if I'm not mistaken. I may be doing that math wrong. I'm not sure what the warhead weight of was, but we were carrying a pretty heavy load out there. I'm going to operate under the endurance rules there. Or maybe not, because we are pretty slow up here. That's the wrong move. Somebody who thinks they're the coolest for revving their car to the sound of a subway just went up there. Apologies if you didn't hear that. Let's see if we can communicate with the... Nope. We are still too far away to communicate with the carrier. So I'm going to assume it's BRC. It's probably... Let's see if you disengage that. Leave that. Good. There we go. Because the type of landing that we're going to do here is what's called a Case 3 landing. As I was talking about earlier, we're operating under Naval Case 3 conditions. And even though I'm not too happy about that fuel, I should be able to make it home just fine. It's 3B here, which I don't really use as tankers. Perfect. In fact, you know what? I see an opportunity. Yes, we've done a little bit of change of plans. Just because I'm not comfortable with this fuel consumption, we are going to tank there. Let's do that. Talk to the tanker here. There we go. We translate those instructions. That's probably more like pre-contact at 29,000 feet, going velocity 260. Because they do not ever seem to get the proper approach velocities right. And since we're getting close enough to this carrier, at about roughly, I believe, 2 nautical miles out, set our radar to standby. because of the radiation waves it emits. And we'll bring the fuel probe out. Assuming there is nobody. Here's us F-14s have left, which is perfect for what we are trying. And the way that these operations work is, I believe, we are going to approach the left wing of the tanker. If there was someone occupied in the left wing, we'd take the right wing instead. And we're pretty much going to say ready pre-contact. Right behind the basket, they will say cleared contact. And we will be able to move towards the basket. And then we transfer, and we hear probably the I guess euphoric words you can hear at DCS, which is transfer complete, disconnect. Anyways, it appears that the tanker is somehow... Oh, there we go. For a second there, it gained on us, which is interesting. This tanker appears to be operating fairly fast. Not entirely sure what its velocity is. As you can see here, we are nowhere near velocity 250. Not sure how the game gets their velocity, because they are going 400, we are going 600-ish. True airspeed. So it may be based on true airspeed, which I don't think really makes sense, since we're, you know, operating with indicated airspeed instead of true airspeed. But nonetheless, we are approaching. Well, it seems slow right now. Once we start catching with the carrier, we'll start to rapidly decelerate. And once we actually connect to the tanker, is when I will properly eyeball it. I'll go over the process closer. Nice. We're getting closer. Radar to standby. Going to extend the probe here. As you can see, our tank press is getting pretty low. So we are, quite frankly, down to the wire. So we really do need to connect to this tanker. Since I believe it appears that we've been picked up by an enemy radar, which is not ideal, but I'm going to ignore it since I am technically near a high-value aerial asset, which should be properly protected to deal with these situations. The air brake out here. I'm going to say under the aircraft. They have decided to fire a missile at me. To say this isn't ideal is an understatement. I'm going to actively jam and chaff the target. Since we really need fuel here, I'm going to try my hardest to ignore this radar and hope that that system works. It appears the missile has missed. The fact that this tanker is over enemy territory is a very big oversight, in my opinion. Since I now have to not just worry about connecting fuel, but also a missile taking me out of the sky. Which, as I said, is not ideal. In fact, there appears to be enemy aircraft. I'm going to quickly ask for air reinforcements. anyways. I'm going to try my hardest to ignore the missiles here and pray that I do not fall out of the sky. And we are going to get close to the back of this. So, at this point, I'm essentially just eyeballing, making micro corrections. Now, I'm going to get back to my Tinker menu. I'm going to clear contact. The basket's already out. It's a little bit of turbulence and wind, but it's not too bad. See here, I'm trying to figure out the sweet spot, the throttle, which is a very crucial part of refueling, and I'm getting to a feedback loop, which was that up and down that you were seeing there. That is a fairly common pilot. Problem that occurs with earlier refueling pilots. I'm going to try my hardest to connect and focus during this. Let's see, I'm in the probe closer to the basket. Just barely nudging my throttle. With contact. I'm now looking at the pod up there actually instead of the basket, so I don't get disoriented. I'm trying my damn hardest to focus while I have the early one blaring on my face. Apologies if I go silent here. It's a very deep focused kind of thing. Definitely could not refuel in these conditions with the Tomcat, as I'm already kind of losing my mind hearing that damn SAM alert. Thankfully, I have a fly-by-wire system on my side that makes this refueling process a lot easier. See there, I throttled down a bit too much, trying to recover. If I disconnect it all though, I should be able to just return home at this point. There we go, the SAM has stopped locking onto us, which is really nice. Alright, complete our aerial refueling. I'm going to try to fly a formation here. Nobody's on the right. We're going to join up its right wing, which is what you would do if you were waiting for Stormy. Here's my desktop is not recording any audio, so hold on. My apologies for that. turns out this entire time I have not been recording audio. Which, after hearing the same warning about the time, is probably for the best. We also have our speed break out, which probably explains why I was making stronger throttle corrections. That actually makes sense. I always check your speed brake. Anyways, can now leave the tanker and head home. Now that we have plenty of fuel, we may be a bit overweight to land on the carrier, but we can just dump some fuel. Nice. I'm going to tune back the TACAN 43X. Okay, we have the carrier there. We still cannot talk to the carrier, so we're just gonna run around here. Let's see. I believe aerial refueling is probably one of the hardest things you can do in DCS. In fact, I'd say it's easier than carrier landing because of its complexity. Anyways, there appears to be an air-to-air threat directly in front of us. Going to quickly confirm this with the AWACS.
Overlord 1-1, Springfield 1-1, request bogey dope. Springfield 1-1, Overlord 1-1, Rob 349.
That is indeed an enemy, so we are going to engage. I'm going to select our, I believe they're AIM-120 AMRAAMs, though that may be the name of the Sparrows, the AIM-120 destination. But either way, taking out our missiles here, and we are going to attempt to engage this enemy air target. See here, the closer we get to this target, the more it appears to not care about our radar lock, which is interesting. But then again, I didn't care about the SAM radar lock earlier, so maybe that's the reason. Maybe they just really wanted it. Either way, I'm glad we tanked, because I've been going full afterburner rapidly approaching this target. Would be within firing range if I move this. Launch Q. There we go. Shoot. Box 3. Merge, indeed, and splash. And the aircraft down. I've taken out an L-39. I wonder why they're not doing that. Anyways, now get on our goal that we've been trying to do this whole time, getting home. It's an average day in DCS. It really is. I think you're taken off for like a quick little strike mission, and you end up tanking, shooting down at enemy fighter, and doing all kinds of other stuff. But now we can actually start heading, which is nice. For some reason the autopilot mode is, oh there we go. Let's fix itself, never mind. guess the autopilot gets its feelings hurt pretty quickly, because as soon as I tried to help it, disengaged. Now we fixed it. Hopefully I save Lex again if there's any more enemies. I'm sure I'll return home safely. Backhand has identified it as a carrier, which I remember correctly, I believe that means Carrier Vehicle Network, CVN. Apologies about that. Anyways, so I was saying, we got the wax here, request picture. It appears to be a group at goals. Not entirely sure what goals mean, but I'm assuming that's heading 066 for 21,000, or for not 20,000. Okay, that's for 210 nautical miles away, 40,000 feet. So look here. Yeah, we should be pretty safe. Doesn't mean to burn. Press my key. Let's mean to burn more fuel anyways. I'm gonna kick us into burner again. We'll start heading over there. I want to try to see if I can talk to the thing. Not too sure. We can talk to the Russian carrier. I don't know if they'll be that welcoming to us. There we go. Now we can communicate with the tanker again, carrier. I'm gonna do a few things here. First, I'm gonna dial the heading bug. Guys, I'm gonna disengage from this mode, heading select mode. Case the recovery, final bearing of 192. The final radar is there's two in the case the approach radar, and then there's the final radar. I'll have to bring a photo up on screen, but essentially the final radar is the actual heading of the carrier runway. Now I'm not going to necessarily do this properly. In fact, I'm planning on using the automatic carrier landing system for this, since it is not favorable conditions to manually land in. And also when it comes to doing case recovers properly, it doesn't necessarily matter, since most multiplayer servers don't even happen at night or anything. So unless you're like a hardcore player that plays at night, you don't really need it. I'm also going to uncage our heading here, or not heading, but attitude display. So this is without wind, and this is with wind. And I want to see the wind on this, just so we can get a better idea for our carrier approach. See here, we're on automatic carrier landing 1. Double check we have all the proper systems turned on. Yep. Now it's just a matter of approaching the carrier. Save to that side. Very windy in this cockpit. Oh, it's because we're Mach 1.2, that makes sense. See here, we are punching through the cloud layers. This is when it kind of becomes instrument. At least we'll reform through this cloud layer. Here it is. Speed break out. Have to slow down. Once we go under 5,000, say platform, the aircraft is warning us about our altitude, which is very nice. Go. Re-brake on again. Kind of move our throttles forward. Tell it to hold about 350-ish when we approach. I'll even tell it to do that and do TACAN. Actually, not TACAN couple hold, because that may cause problems later on. You'll see what I mean. That looks good. So right now we're just kind of catching up with the carrier. I'm not sure if I said platform before, so let's say it again just to make sure. You see they want us at about 1,200 feet, so we'll descend now to about 1,200-ish feet. We'll also turn on our external lights. Perfect. We're going to have to yank that. Should hold off. But anyways, sitting back here now. I'm gonna lower the hook. And then when we get a little bit closer, I'll lower the gear. Probably at about 8 nautical miles or so. I'm gonna start dropping the gear, flaps. I'm gonna start slowing down till we get onto the approach ball. And we'll have the aircraft hopefully stick this landing. Bolters, that will be kind of a messy go-around process. See there, they just talked about the bullseye. As you can see there, they just talked about the bullseye. So, fly bullseye essentially means that we should be in our landing configuration at this point. So we're going to slow down here. You're coming down. Full flaps. We need to line up that bracket. Holy moly. That's dampening, man. I love this plane, but it has some very goofy setups. There we go. Auto throttle coming on. Auto throttle will manually try to fly the bracket, carry the ball. So now you can see we're holding like this. I'm going to turn our position lights, our formation lights, including our landing taxi light, so the LSO can see us. And now we are essentially waiting for the sorry, this takes a lot of focus. Why did I bring the map to communicate that back? So right now, we're just kind of fighting the plane itself, which is not my favorite part about this. There we go. You can see the thing there. You can see the needles. ACLS lock on. Put on. That means it's a little bit above us. I believe concurrence to fly mode 2 gives us clearance to engage the ACLS. So right now, I think I finally got the plane to calm down. Right now, we are essentially just waiting for those two things to line up in the middle of our velocity vector. And then I will engage cool mode, which is why I didn't want to use it earlier, in case it accidentally automatically engaged. And then the aircraft is going to attempt to fly itself down to the carrier using various instruments and radio transmitters. So, there we go. Camera is activated. We are now in the automatic carrier landing system. The aircraft is now trying to get itself nice and settled in. You can see the carrier. Usually in these conditions you would have a blinking approach light, but a recent DCS update has pretty much broken that approach light. So we can't see it. There's the fall system with the meatball, which is the lights on the left side of the carrier deck runway. That tells us if we are on the glide slope, which we are. Essentially at this point, put the radar on standby. There's our 1,000 or 800 feet. Hook down, gear down, flaps down. We are ready to rumble. Again, if this thing falters, we'll have to slam the throttle forward and hope we make it. Which is not going to be fun. See, the rain is beating us down again as we're approaching this carrier. Ball. Ball. I'm not entirely sure what the 5.4 means, but nonetheless, we're getting there. It's estimating that we'll be landing in 10 seconds. You can see the carrier deck. We're going to be a little bit sideways. And we have caught the wire. So I'm going to quickly put these flaps up, hook up, fold wings. We need to do this as quickly as possible because it's a busy carrier deck. And then I'm going to start turning away. The automatic rating system is mad at me. It's built into the doing the front thing I was talking about. But that doesn't matter. We haven't made it back. So I'm going to taxi to a parking area. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to say I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully that kind of shows what it's like to do these kind of training operations. This is what I enjoy the most, mainly because it's a lot more of a challenging operation than just average day flying or even night flying. So yeah, I fly other DCS aircraft as well, so if you're curious about that, please let me know. Yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed our little ride in a storm. And I will see you all later. Bye-bye.